And this segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phone prepare for you, whatever gadget you're looking for, whether mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras. We say worry no more because we have got you covered. You can actually download the app on your phone to make things very simple, which is the Franco Trading app, or visit our website for further inquiries. And we'll start with the newspapers. My name is Roslyn Felly, and so let's do the newspapers, and then we get into our main conversation for today. Don't forget to send your messages to us on 055-157-5757. I'll start with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. And it says individuals who validate ghost names will be held liable. This from C and AG as they warn. Now, this is very, very important, I must say, because as we speak now, there are people who are actually validating it. And that is why the state is losing so much money with regards to ghost names. And so it's good that if you validate any ghost name, you will be held liable. Yeah. Veep urges sound investment decisions for sustainable social security. Noel Posikwa, in Unibank case, I acted in nation's interest, AG says. So we'll talk briefly about this because yesterday the minority also issued a statement letting us know that they were not happy about it and they could go to court with regards to this case of the Unibank being acquitted of these charges. So minority is not too happy about it. Minority says, no, you can't acquit them just like that. There's more to it than we see. But AG says, listen, it is not about jailing the person. It's about retrieving the monies that have been lost. And they have retrieved a certain amount of money in assets and in cash. And AG says, let's let the case die. But minority is not going to let it die. And so we'll be delving into that conversation as we speak to a rep from a minority to tell us why they want to take this case to court. President Mahama, other former leaders pay glowing tribute to Daddy Lumba. Yes, may his soul rest in peace. Let's check out the center page and see what other stories are here. Individuals who validate. Okay, so almost all the stories on the front page are in here as well. The back page, agricultural diplomacy in action. Dumelo hails Morocco's support. Even teenagers now battle hypertension. Victor Opuni cautions, and this is very worrying. Yes, because back then when we hear of hypertension, we know you have to be of a certain age, like, from 40 and above. That's when you get hypertension. But now we are hearing that teenagers are getting it. So is it because of how we live? Our lifestyle could be the reason. The kind of medicines that we get from hospitals could be the reason. There's so many factors in here. So let's take very good care of ourselves, please. The Daily Graphic newspaper is the next newspaper. The Daily Graphic newspaper. 32 years ago, I've bid farewell. Daddy Lumba foretells death. MPs call for state-assisted burial. Now, he released the song 32 years ago, and he actually did bid farewell in that song 32 years ago. Now, Daddy Lumba died at the age of 60. So if he released that song 32 years ago, you can imagine his age at that time. Yeah. But Daddy Lumba is one person that Ghanaians have actually used their mouths to kill him several times. And I believe that was one of the reasons why he actually released that song. But finally, God has called him home. And we say that it is not a good thing. We are not happy, but God knows best. As much as we are sad and we are mourning, God knows best. SNIT's strategic investment stabilize economy. DG touts achievements at Diamond Jubilee launch. Ensure to protect yourself against uncertainties. Ensure to protect yourself against uncertainties. Insurance companies urge Ghanaians, and GTEC begins arrest prosecution of honorary PhD holders. Now, if you claim to be a PhD holder and you are not a PhD holder, GTEC is coming for you because they say, please do not use that title if you're not. But I'm just wondering, why do people use the title when they are not, though? What do you gain from it? Because they'll come for you. So why will you even confer it on yourself and claim to be a PhD holder when you're not? Okay, so SNIT, strategic investment, stabilize economy, which I read earlier. Now, you know, as for Parliament, I love Parliament for one reason, although I'm not a member of Parliament, but I still do love Parliament because they actually speak on our behalf. There are so many people who have been calling that the state should assist in Lumba's burial. And yesterday in Parliament, this particular issue was brought up. And so people are excited that our members in Parliament did speak on our behalf, saying that the state should actually go ahead and support the burial of Daddy Lumba. Some are saying that Daddy Lumba should be buried in Accra. Others are saying his hometown. Others are saying Kumasi. Because for Kumasi, he's like the Michael Jackson. You know, he's their icon. And so at this point, we say, God, let his soul rest in peace. Let's take a look at what happened in Parliament.
Just play that Lumba's music and you'll be fine. Mr. Speaker, even if you want to go and do galamsey, play that Lumba's music and you'll be encouraged. Mr. Speaker, the man is a legend. If you want to know, with your wife, you have a problem, just play. Odo me pewa sempa o na abwan here. Pem 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 pem. Odo me pewa sempa o na abwan here na mpira di pantia. Me pewa sempa o onya na wan chira di pantia. Daddy me pewa semu bebre. Your wife is good to go. Mr. Speaker, Munke Babi Adipa Akoshe to Krum. Mr. Speaker, this is for the Galamsey people. Munke Babi Adipa Akoshe to Krum. So you know that, you know where to go and harvest. Mr. Speaker, so as for Dada Lumba, if you're a young man, Mr. Speaker, if you're a young man and you want to make life, listen to that Lumba's music. I'm telling you, if you play that Lumba's music, Mr. Speaker, you'll be good to go. Quarrel with your wife.
Yes, and that is what the members of Parliament are saying, that Daddy Lumba's lyrics actually has shaped a lot of marriages and lots of people's lives. And so we are asking for a state-assisted burial. If the state is not going to cover it all, at least assistance is what we ask for. More stories in the Daily Graphic newspaper. China to offer $500 per child in move to boost birth rate. Wow, this is an international story. You know, at a point in time, China had this rule that if you want to give birth, it has to be one child per household. So they were not giving birth to more than one child. So one child per household. But now China says they are going to offer $500 per child in move to boost birth rate, because it looks like the people are too comfortable with the fact that they do not have to have more than one child. And now China says we want every household to have more than one. Okay, how do we do it? We'll pay each child $500. Can they bring it to Ghana? I'm just speaking on behalf of my people watching us. Can they bring it to Ghana? Like $500 per child? Hello. Do you know how many people will benefit? Do you know how much Sheila will get? Do you know how much Esiedua will get? Because Esiedua is willing to give birth to 10 children. So, wow. That'll be what, $5,000 a month? Esiedua, Yedi Loto. Anyway, more stories in the Daily Graphic newspaper. Ghana receives fertilizer donation from Morocco, and GT Bank donates 100 motorbikes to boost police patrols and community policing. That'll be it for the Daily Graphic newspaper. My final newspaper is The Overseer. The Overseer. 14,000 ghost workers, 53,000 separated staff on payroll, Finance Minister reveals. I don't know what, you know, how they come about this whole ghost names and all of that. It looks like it's a cash cow, eh? It's really a cash cow, and I'm happy that the government is clamping down on that. NPA launches steering committee to champion 24-hour economy in a downstream petroleum sector. Suparu vows to advance Ghana's ambition as AI hub for Africa. and 4 others not charged with theft. AG defends Noah Persequa. And also tensions mount in Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee over travel slot controversy, and NEIP conducts nationwide monitoring of innovation hubs and training centers. And that will be all for our stories for this morning. Now, earlier I did mention to you our conversations for the morning. We have 3 main conversations that we are going to be taking a look at. Our first conversation will have to do with AG acquitting certain companies. One company is the Unibank with regards to theft or fraudulent activities that they were charged with, and that the other government, now the current government, says that we need to retrieve the monies. That's the most important thing. Yesterday, AG addressed the nation and made us aware certain monies had been retrieved from one of the companies, which is the Unibank, and hence their case had been acquitted. He said that what we need is the money and not people being thrown into jail. Minority is not too happy about it. Minority says that if this should happen, we will go to court. And so today we'll be speaking with one rep from the minority with regards to that. Also, we'll take a look at what happened in Ashanti region, where the tourism sector is clamping down on illegal persons who are operating in the hospitalization sector. Now, what they do is that hospitality sector, what they do is that they are running these hotels, these pubs, these nightclubs without the right license. And so what is happening is tourism sector says we will close it down, or you get the right papers to be able to operate. We'll also talk about that, and then we'll talk briefly about Galamsey, where the Blue Water Guard has integrated more persons into it. Okay, so that will be it. All right, so we have more stories coming your way. But a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. With Franco Trading Enterprise, you can trust that we've got you covered. Make sure you get all your gadgets from Franco Trading Enterprise. Mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, just get it from Franco Trading Enterprise. All right, so we're going to start with our very first conversation. And all right, so we are going to the Ashanti region, and we are going to start this conversation with what happened in the Ashanti region, which I told you about with regards to the hospitality industry, where certain companies were shut down because they were operating with the wrong documents. I'm being joined this morning by Clinton Iyabua. Good morning, Clinton. Hello, Clinton. Good morning. Can you hear me? Hello, Clinton. All right. So yes, perfect. It's good that you can hear me. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Okay, great. And thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Lester, for having me.
All right. And we also have Frederick J. Rudolph also joining us this morning. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm blessed. Thank you.
Great. And thank you so much for also joining us this morning. Now, I want to speak with Clinton first, and then I come to you, Fred, for you to explain to us exactly what happened. But Clinton is a Joy News journalist in the Ashanti region. Clinton, tell us exactly what happened yesterday.
Well, yesterday I joined the Ghana Tourism Authority and the Ghana Police Service on a scouting exercise to fish out unlicensed hospitality and tourism facilities. And to me, the highlight was not really the licenses that people were not processing or the expired licenses, but the conditions that we were met with. I personally was really shocked that the hospitality facilities were not really giving a hospitable face. The places that we went to that had, they're purported to be hotels, they're purported to be accommodation facilities, but had broken beds, had unsanitary washrooms. And so it was really shocking to me. So this was part of the exercise to clamp down on the operation of hospitality facilities in the Ashanti region that are not working up to standard, that are not working to the requirements by the Ghana Tourism Authority.
Right. Okay, thank you so much. And how did the people take it, though?
Well, so there are two, I would classify them two. Most of them were caretakers, and so their decision were two. One is for them to just run away when they spot the enforcement team coming. The others were either to stay and speak to the enforcement team. And you could see that most of them were oblivious of what was going on. It's as if they do not know the requirements available and how they are even supposed to follow a certain standard in their operation. Others, I observed, were also very much aware, but seemed not to be perturbed by the situation. Since I think enforcement hasn't really gotten down, and the reprimanding hasn't really been effective when it comes to their operations illegally. And so what they do is just continue operating, even though they have been cautioned by the authority, even though they have been given a notice of closure or a notice of proper operations, but they still work at the blind side of the authority.
All right, thank you so much, Clinton. Rudolph, you're still on, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, so everybody was surprised yesterday when this actually happened, but we want to know what called for the action.
Right, so as I indicated during the press briefing before we started this exercise, this is an enforcement regulatory compliance exercise, which is not new to the Ghana Tourism Authority. We do it every year. But it has become necessary at this particular time because of the number of illegal operators that we've been able to identify in the region. Their infractions are varied. Some do not have operational license. We've never seen them. Some we went there for inspection to renew their licenses, and the kind of standard that we met there suggests that they cannot be licensed until they rectify the defects that we have outlined to them. And some have actually been licensed, but they refuse to pick up their licenses and display it at the reception, which is also an infraction against the law. So if you look at this myriad of problems, it is very important that we don't just sit in the office, move on to the field, go to them, and let them be aware of whatever offense they might have committed against the acts that regulates this industry.
Right. Apart from the license, what are the other violations that you found, the common ones you found in these companies?
All right. So as I said, the major thing is that no tourism enterprise is supposed to operate without a valid operational license from Ghana Tourism Authority.
Right.
Now, there are various reasons why you may not have a license. Either you do not meet the requirements or you have not even registered with a GTA. So these are the two reasons. Most of them are illegal operators that are not even registered and licensed, while some of them are those that do not meet the requirement. Also, some are actually licensed, but if you are licensed and you don't pick up your license and display it at your reception, you are deemed to be operating illegally. But as Clinton said, the worrying one, the most worrying one is the level of substandard hotels in the budget category. That is quite worrisome.
So what were the immediate actions that were taken against these companies? Were some shut down?
Yes, we started the exercise yesterday and we were able to visit 8 facilities within the region. Closure notices were posted at their premises. Those that we can confiscate keys, we did, and we have reported these facilities to the Ghana Police Service, who are actually in support with this exercise. They go out with us throughout the exercise. They went out with us throughout the exercise yesterday. And hopefully this morning, as soon as I finish with this interview, we are stepping out again, and we want to sustain it for a period of less than a month, after which we will review our operations, and if need be, we'll continue.
So what actually prompted the action now? Why now?
As I said, it is not an action that is new. We do it every year. And per our calendar, When we finish with the annual inspection and we start with the licensing process, this is the time that we do our re-inspection, and this is the time that we continue. We start with our enforcement. It's not peculiar to Ashanti region. I'm sure in the coming days or weeks, you will hear similar things going on across the country. It's just that we are the first to start for this year.
And people will feel that it's an attack on the Ashanti region, right?
I totally agree with you. But you see, we live in a country where we are governed by laws. As I said at the press conference, there will be no need for this exercise if we are compliant. But if you are not compliant, you don't expect regulators to sit down watching and not doing anything. If we want a thriving and sustainable tourism and hospitality industry, we should get out of our offices, go onto the field, and let people know that you can't just... We went to a facility yesterday, and having been in this industry for over 20 years, I was actually shocked with what I saw. The upmarket hotels are doing well. Most of them are self-regulatory. But when you come to the budget category, the kind of standard and the kind of things that they sell to the unsuspecting public is quite worrisome. Another shocking thing is that we actually met a client at a hotel, tried to interview whether he's satisfied with the kind of condition that he finds himself. He was so, I don't know, he said it's okay. He paid 100 cedis for a room that, excuse me to say, is not even worth for our pets to sleep in.
Mm. So in this case, you will definitely shut that hotel down, right?
Yes, we did. We did shut it down. Mm. And even though this morning we are supposed to go to a new other facilities that we have scheduled, but just this morning on my way to the office, I decided that we will still go back to one or two of the facilities that we shut down yesterday to see what is happening there before we continue with this morning's exercise.
Well, I was going to ask that question, that how will you ensure that these facilities that you have shut will remain shut?
Yes, that is why we are doing this in collaboration with the Ghana Police Service. And I must commend the Ashanti Regional Police Service for their support so far. We have been assured that no matter where we go in the region, their district commanders will be informed so that any facility that we shut down at any location, we will send the list to the local police command to monitor until we come back and tell them that they are now compliant and they can start operation. So we are honestly depending on the Ghana Police Service to do the monitoring and ensure that these facilities do not operate until they do what they are required to do by law and provide what I would call a sustainable and good accommodation facility for the people. And emphasizing on accommodation because they are the majority of facilities that we have on our list. We are also doing food and beverage, travel and tour, and then car rental companies shut down.
Okay. Now, what if that company just forgot to renew their license, but they have everything that is right for them to operate aside the license? If they should come to your premises to renew their license, will you open their premise up again?
So the renewal of license is not automatic. It's based on a physical inspection.
Okay.
To be sure that you meet the minimum requirements. So if such facilities approach us, we'll quickly organize an inspection. And if we find that they meet the minimum requirements, process their licenses and then open their premises for them.
Now, talking about that, how cumbersome is it to get a license from your facility or from your institution?
If you do the right thing, it is not cumbersome at all. Let's take a budget facility, an accommodation facility. What you need to register and license, you need to register the business first at the Registrar General's Department. The facility, that is the building, you need to have a building permit, architectural drawings, you need to have ownership of that building, you need to get a fire certificate, you need to get a police report, an environmental health report, and then we have to conduct a physical inspection and make sure that you meet the minimum requirements. The challenge in most cases is that we do things without putting structures in place. For example, we have people that have built hotels without a building permit. So if you have a hotel without a building permit, there's no way Ghana Tourism Authority will license you. The least you can get is probably get a provisional license until you are able to get these mandatory documents that we require before we license you.
Okay.
There are people that start this registration process and within 2-3 weeks, they finish because they have all the requirements that we need for us to be able to license.
Okay.
So it all depends on the provision of what we call mandatory documents for registration and licensing.
All right. Okay. I'll definitely come back to you, Fred. Let me speak with Clinton. Clinton, hi.
Hello, once again.
Right. And you're on the ground. What are people saying?
Well, majority of the people yesterday that we encountered were just caretakers. They are just looking after the buildings. They are not the owners. And so they have to even call the owners themselves and inform them about the situation. And so for them, it was very, really inconvenient for them. I mean, coming to meet a situation that they had no control over. But we did encounter also people who were aware of the situation, but were also forceful in their approach and were willing to challenge the process, and the authority also were also willing to engage them further. So, yeah, I think every person or all the entities that we have encountered did somehow appreciate what was going on and was also ready to learn what was going on.
Okay, so it looks like they knew that they were actually flouting the laws then.
Oh, yes. Some of them have been given caution, but I mean, they just continue to work at the blind side of the authority.
Okay. All right, I'll come back to you again, Clinton. Let me go back to Fred. Now, Fred, the reaction, it looks like the people are not angry. They knew. Did you actually caution them? And if you did, how long was that caution before you went under this operation?
Yeah, thank you. As I said during my press conference, enforcement is one of the most difficult things to do when you are a regulatory agency. So for me, before I embark on any enforcement, I give enough notice, especially to those that are aware. Those that we have their contacts, we call them. There are people that we have visited and have actually chased them out of their premises. So this is not, and you see, if it is a novelty, then we'll be talking about people not being aware. But if you have a facility that has been operating for, let's say, 5 years, you've been licensed for the first, second year, and the third year you are not getting a license because you don't meet the requirements, you can't say you are not aware. And those that are also operating without even a license, most of them, because we have their list.
How many months notice did you give to them, though?
We've started planning for this thing since January. So most of them are aware since the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And the notification for me is not even an issue that should be a reason why we can't go after them. Because there is a law that governs this industry and has a very a good business practice. If you are coming into any industry, the best thing or the least you can do is to find out the regulators and what you need to do. So for those that we have their contacts, we reach out to them. Those that we do not have their contact, the only thing we know is about their location, we did not reach out to them. But that still does not stop us from doing what we have to do.
All right. What about the food vendors, those who sell by the roadside?
Okay, so those are categorized as the informal sector. They are part of this exercise. Their own regulation is not as stringent as the formal sector. So we have a couple of them on our list. Yesterday, we didn't visit any of them. But for them, they are aware. They know that we do give them an informal sticker for them to operate. So the few ones that we have on our list will also be visited.
But you know, those by the roadside, especially they'll say that those by the gutter, it tastes good. But of course, whenever there's a spread of cholera, they are the first people that we talk about. So why are we not going after them? Why are their measures not as stringent as the formal sector?
Okay, so the issue with the informal sector, they don't need a building permit. That is why I'm saying that it's not as stringent. You don't need a fire certificate to sell by the roadside. You don't necessarily need a police report. What we get to inspect is how hygienic the food that you are selling is. We need to see where the production is being done. If it is hygienic enough, then we will be able to license you. And those ones are many. So we need a lot of logistics to be able to go after them. That is not to say they are not part of this exercise. They are very much part of this exercise. And by the time we finish with the first round, by the 30th of August, we should have touched the
All right. So with them in particular, what are you looking out for?
Okay. Well, it's mostly how hygienic and wholesome the food that you are selling is. We have to be certain that whatever you are selling is not injurious to the consumers. If it is, then we might have to report you to the Food and Drugs Authority to take the action.
That's good. So that was going to be my next question. How has the collaboration between the FDA and MFDAs helped so far?
In fact, it's been fantastic. When it comes to food and beverage, the FDA are doing a lot for us. Because at times we'll go to certain kitchens and we'll be told that, oh, the FDA has been here. This is the certification they gave us. This is what they've asked us to do. So the collaboration has been good. And we must commend the FDA for the good work that they are doing in the food and beverage sector.
That's good then. So you are Ashanti region. I was going to ask, when should we expect it in other regions? But since you are representing the Ashanti region, you might not be the right person to give that response, right?
Absolutely. I'm not the right person, but as I said, I'm part of a whole entity, and I'm aware that in the coming weeks, the other regions too will start. But as to the exact dates, I will not be able to tell you.
Okay, that's great. And so tell us a bit about the future with regards to this exercise. What should we expect in the near future?
As far as I'm concerned, with what I have seen, this enforcement exercise will not be done maybe once a year anymore. It's going to be a continuous thing. It's going to be impromptu. Spot checks will be strengthened. Monitoring will be strengthened, because I've realized that the euphoria of this exercise will bring people on board. They will do the right thing. But if you don't sustain it, it will keep on happening. So the strategy will be that after this 1 month exercise, we'll start our spot checks in earnest and make sure that we are on the field 24/7. Make sure that almost every time we are visiting the recalcitrant operators, we'll identify the problematic areas and intensify our monitoring exercise in those areas, so that when next there will be another enforcement exercise, we'll not be having a list of 200, but probably 10 or 20.
Okay. Now, what about these hawkers on the streets? Are they under your purview?
No, they are not.
Okay.
They are not.
All right. Anyway, so if they are not, then I won't ask you that question, but I'll ask the right person if they are under their purview and how we can also protect people, the consumers there. Thank you so much for joining us. Before you go, anything you want to say?
Yes, I'll still appeal to our stakeholders out there, the trade associations under the tourism industry, to keep on sensitizing their members and non-members that we all want a thriving and sustainable tourism industry. We can only achieve that if we are law-abiding and compliant. Service delivery is key, hygiene is key. So we entreat all of them to assist us. This job is so herculean that we cannot do it alone. But if we all push together in one direction, we'll be able to have the tourism industry, especially in the Ashanti region, the way we want it to be.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Fred. We are grateful. And Clinton, before you go, can you also give us your final words?
I think what I can say is that with respect to these facilities, it's not just about the standards that are missing, but there is also the issue of security and safety, because some of these facilities that we visited, it could be taken advantage by criminals, because even bookkeeping and record keeping was at its lowest or poorest enforcement, that people who visit these facilities may not even have track of the activities in the facility. So even in case of emergency, you may not be able to trace to them. And I bet that people get there and are harmed, and we don't get to hear them because of the nature of the facility and the nature of the conditions there that keeps somehow shadows or covers every transparent activity that are supposed to be upheld by the hospitality industry or by hotels or public spaces.
All right, thank you so much, Clinton, for joining us too. And I've been speaking with Clinton Yeboah, who is a Joy News journalist. He's a correspondent in Ashanti region, and also Frederick J. Rudolph, who is Ashanti Regional Director for Ghana Tourism Authority. Thank you all so much for speaking with us this morning. Don't forget that you are part of our conversations as well, so keep your messages coming in on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. And like Fred said, it's not going to be just the Ashanti region, but it's going to be nationwide. And so if you are a hotelier and you actually aside hotelier and you even have any, or you operate under the Ghana Tourism Authority, make sure that you have your license ready, else they will come after you. Time for us to get some messages that have been sent in. Oh wow, I have a lot of messages here. Thank you all so much for sending your messages every morning when we come your way. The 8 suspects who have approached Attorney General for plea bargain. No, we want to know their names, because naming and shaming is also a punishment from Ablade. Fiekuma Zongo, all right, Ablade. Meshak Asante from Mama Samansa said that I don't think Attorney General owes anybody explanation for the continued Dr. Kwame Duffuor's case and other cases, because Duffuor Posikwa is part of our law, or has he breached any law? Everything shows clearly from day one that there was no merit in their case. That is why the past NPP administration couldn't find any evidence against them for the past 8 years. So why will the current NDC government waste money and resources on cases which there is no evidence to support? I strongly believe that any case that remains in court for more than 2 years should be quashed by any successive government, whether NDC or NPP, because justice delayed is justice denied. My condolences to the family of Daddy Lumba. He will forever remain the greatest musician Ghana has ever produced. R.I.P. Daddy Lumba. All right. Good morning to you. By effectively managing its natural resources, Ghana can reduce its reliance on foreign aid and loans, fostering a sense of independence and self-sufficiency. Internal funds generated through properly managing resources can be used to fund the development project without relying on external funding sources. This not only boosting the country's economy, but also strengthens its autonomy and sovereignty. Aaron Bebaka Kokomisa. Alhaji Hamza from Pick Farm says, good morning, Roslyn. It's time we all come together to give support to the Duffuor's committee to bring a long-lasting peace to Boko and its surroundings. What the good people of Boko need now is peace for development. I call on my brothers and sisters in Boko to give peace a chance. Madam, the good people of Boko need our prayers, but I'm sad to see that when we are all calling for peace, the NPP as a political party has decided to play politics with this crisis, and this is so shameful on their part. Children, pregnant women, farmers, the elderly, and even students are not left out. And we decide to sit in a crowd to play politics with these killings. I'm sad, and those involved in this shameful act should bow their heads in shame. Good morning, Nigeria Roslyn. Good morning to you. They said the banking sector cleanup was targeted at NDC banks and it was political. In short, the banks did no wrong. The Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, is in his characteristic style, has filed a Duffuor Posikwa with respect to Dr. Kwame Duffuor's prosecution at the court. Dr. Dominic Ayeni asserts that 60% of the monies deemed to have been stolen by Duffuor's defunct Unibank has been returned to the state. In other words, Dr. Duffuor has paid 60% of the monies his bank was accused to have misappropriated and mismanaged. For the above reason, Dr. Dominic Ayeni deemed it prudent to discontinue the case and withdraw all the charges brought against Dr. Duffuor. What this simply means is that one can steal state funds, and when presented before a court, all that the person must do is to pay at least 60% of the stolen cash without interest, and the person walks away without any further action. Now, for this one, let me say this. What the Attorney General said was that they were going to retrieve the other 40%. So let us not jump to conclusion and say this is what it means. He said they were going to do it. Now, we want to take a look at what the Attorney General said with regards to this case.
2025 made a proposal to settle the revised outstanding obligation of 3.3 billion Ghana cedis through a structured approach. The accused persons offered to pay 2 billion Ghana cedis in full and final settlement of the outstanding obligations through the following arrangements: 800 million worth of assets to be transferred directly to Unibank, which is in receivership, which will now make that available to the Bank of Ghana. And then their active cooperation and participation to assist the receiver to recover an additional 1.2 billion from the direct beneficiaries paid out on their instructions. Out of the above arrangements, the accused persons have provided landed properties valued at 824 million Ghana cedis to Unibank. That is, in receivership. Further, in other words, indirectly to the Bank of Ghana or the Republic of Ghana. Further, the accused persons will be responsible for any shortfall in the proceeds realized from the sale of the landed properties. A total of 0.5 billion has to date been recovered out of the 1.2 billion being pursued from the direct beneficiaries. Recovery of the remaining balance of 0.7 billion out of the 1.2 billion Ghana cedis and the realization of the landed properties provided are expected to be completed over a timeline of 18 months. Although the preference would have been for me and my team for the accused person to settle the proposed amount in cash, immediate settlement in cash was not, from my sense of what transpired at the negotiations, a realistic possibility or a realistic option. Both the criminal and civil cases have persisted over 6 years with no immediate resolution in sight. The complex nature of the legal proceedings has significantly delayed any meaningful recovery. While the criminal prosecution was intended to serve as a punitive and deterrent measure, it is through the civil process that actual recovery of funds is effectively pursued. The accused person's proposal fell within the receiver's mandate to maximize recoveries for Unibank in order to settle the bank's creditors, mainly Government of Ghana and some institutions. There is also a genuine risk that prolonged litigation could ultimately lead to lower net recovery, especially when accounting for legal costs, procedural delays, the time value of money, and the potential dissipation or concealment of assets. By contrast, the current arrangement secures the timely resolution or recovery of over 800 million Ghana cedis in assets and establishes a structured pathway for recovering an additional 1.2 billion Ghana cedis.
And that is the Attorney General. Now, he says they've recovered about 60% of the monies that are being owed, and hence the case had been dropped. But the minority is not too happy about it, and so this morning we want to speak with Kwame Anyimadu-Antwi, who is a ranking member on the Constitutional and the Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. Honourable, good morning to you.
System.
How are you today?
By grace, I'm good.
It's good to have you on.
Thank you.
Great, and I hope the minority is doing well too. You are really fighting a good fight in Parliament, but then why is the minority not too happy about the Attorney General's decision?
We are not happy because there are laws in this country that one needs to follow. Now, if you become the Attorney General, it doesn't mean that you can get up and do whatever you want. You have to follow what the law says. Nobody is against the fact that you want to make restitution and get money for the nation. But there are procedures that you have to follow. If you look at Section 35 of the Court Act, it says that when a matter is in court, you can go through conviction, and then the person will not go to prison, you can retrieve the money. Section 162 of Criminal Procedure Act, as amended, which we call the plea bargain justice extensive. There are a number of things you can do. Now, this matter is before the court. It is already before the court. The first prosecution witness started speaking. I think the second prosecuting witness had either started or was speaking before NDC won power. Because it was before the court, all that he needed to do was to negotiate with the parties under the supervision of the court. But he picked, and he could have achieved the same result, but he picked the matter, sits at home or his office, and then he negotiates as if he's a super law. You don't do that. Under the plea bargain agreement, he could have done that under the supervision of the court. And this is what we are saying, that he failed to do that, and that is wrong.
Okay.
All that he's saying, because he was a lawyer for the Duffuor, he still thinks that he is defending a civil matter, but this is a prosecution of a crime. So that's why we think for a learned lawyer, who is the top lawyer in the country, should not have sunk so low.
So are you alleging a conflict of interest in here?
Yes, it was part of the statement that I made. Because if you are the lawyer for the Duffuor and the Unibank, and now you negotiate with who? If it has been different lawyers negotiating, then you cannot say that at this time I am a defense counsel. Now you become an attorney general, and the same matter you want to use a civil measure in as a benchmark to, and then you propose a 60-40, and the proverbial thing that it says the goods that was stolen and whatnot, it's below the belt. It's sunk so low. It's not right. And what we can conclude, let us be very objective on this. If we have to be objective, he's doing selective justice.
Okay.
And then the procedure he's using is wrong. He's rather saying that if you are NDC, or if you are my client, because I have the power, I will use them. This is abuse of power.
Okay, you're saying it's abuse of power. The case is to do with theft, certain amount of money that was lost. Now, he's saying that they want to retrieve the money, and that is what the government wants, getting the money back. If he wants the money back, is that not the right way to go?
It is not right. Let me repeat what I have said. What I have said is that you can use restitution method, but there are laws already. And I cited Section 35 of the Court Act, and I cited the Plea Bargaining Act. These are laws that you have to use, and he could have achieved the same result, that I don't want the money to go with. So this is the process. It must be before the court. The court will supervise. And then when the court supervises, the person doesn't, even what he has said, we don't even know whether the money are gone into the coffers of government. And he said yesterday that he's going to make an arrangement for the, you see, if from the amount 5.7, I don't know how he came by 1.2. And now he says that the money is 1.2 and that 80% had been paid. How much, I don't know, sitting here. And where the money had gone to, I don't know. And now he has found a nolle prosequi. You have means that the matter has ended. Nobody will question that. But he didn't have to explain. If he has to explain, he should explain and tell Ghanaians that he is involved in a conflict of interest. And that's why he's doing that. He's doing the selective justice.
Now, your party was in power for 8 years. This case was in court for a little over 5 years. What did your party do with this case?
My dear, my party was prosecuting the case.
Okay.
There are other ones, like the base capital. I hear the court has set the base capital free. If I were the Attorney General, I would appeal against that judgment. There was one, in the case of the school, there's one guy that's in prison now. My part, the former executive excellent Godfrey Odame is in the country. I've forgotten the name. There was somebody they negotiated. 1/3, the cost to provide. 1/3 was to be paid, and the person paid it before they gave the restitution and said, okay, we will not imprison you. But the rest of the money, the person didn't pay. And as I speak to you now, the person is behind bars.
Is it Atuesian?
This is what we are.
You're talking about
Atuesian,
Atuesian.
thank you very much.
Right.
That's all about the Atuesian. And this is what we're expecting Attorney General to do.
But you could have done it, couldn't you have? You could have done it. You could have prosecuted Unibank. You could have prosecuted the others that you're saying. And so why didn't you do it?
Well, you are sounding like you in a defense counsel like Dominic Ayine is doing.
No, it's just a question I'm asking. I'm asking the question on behalf of Ghanaians. Ghanaians will ask.
What is the question?
The question is that you were in party for 8 years. Your party was in power for 8 years. Now, this case has been in court more than 5 years. Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you prosecute? Why didn't you come to a finality on it? What stopped you from coming to a conclusion on it?
My dear, the answer that I should have given on this is that all of us as MPPs or parties cannot do prosecution. There is somebody that we have selected as the lawyer's lawyer, the Attorney General, and the Attorney General and his team were of the view that there are some things that we need to take to court. When you take to court and you convict a person, one of the things is deterrence. Even if you don't get the money from the person, you deter others from doing that as a country. And so there could be different reasons why. But if you ask me that question, you are not fair. Maybe when you get, Mr. Godfrey,
I'm just asking the question on behalf of Ghanaians, but let me ask you this question.
No.
What really do you want?
Doing this on behalf of Ghanaians.
Okay, so what do you want Attorney General to do as minority?
We want him to do the right thing.
And what is the right thing?
He cannot run away from the law. There are laws that do what he's asking or he's using his own mind to do and going wrong. And there are laws, if I were him, I would not touch the Duffuor. He's abusing his power as the Attorney General. It is very wrong.
And for the minority, the right thing is?
My dear, of all that I have said, you want me to repeat as if you are not.
No, I want you to repeat. I am carrying you along. I just want you to repeat. I want you to state it emphatically what exactly you want, and then we can move on to the next question.
All that we are saying, all that we have said was that what Dr. Dominic Ayine had done, he could have done that very well under the existing law. But he has departed the existing law. He doesn't want Dr. Duffuor to go to prison. That is fine. And then, but he could have achieved that if he had used the law, Section 35 of the Post Act, or he had used the Plea Bargain Act. But he can't propose a different law which Parliament have not scrutinized, which nobody knows, and it is a bad precedent. And he's doing this because he's not doing it for everybody, but he's doing it because the parties involved or the leading ones are NDC and because he himself was the counsel for the Duffuor.
All right. So when are we going to court?
What's the meaning of your question?
When are you taking the Attorney General to court?
No, I don't think you need to know.
Okay. You don't want us
At
to
the
know?
appropriate time, when we take the necessary steps, you will know.
Okay, fantastic. Let me shift from there, okay? Let's shift from there and go into other matters. Okay, I'll let you go for now, and then maybe I'll call you later and we have more conversations, all right?
Okay.
Thank you so much, Honorable. We are grateful for your time this morning. And I had a conversation with Honorable Kwame Anyimadu-Antwi, who is a ranking member for Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee in Parliament. And he has told us a lot about their stance with regards to what the Attorney General has said, and that he had acquitted certain companies that were in court because of theft. He says they've retrieved 60% of the money, hence the case should not continue in court. However, they will still retrieve the other 40%, but minority is not too happy about it, and he says that they could go to court, but they will let us know at the appropriate time with regards to that. All right, so with regards to the NPP, still staying on the NPP, we know that when Honorable Ernest Yaokumi passed on about a month ago, unfortunately, he was the Member of Parliament for Akwatia. Akwatia will have to go for by-elections. Now, under normal circumstances, there should be primaries that will be held by that party to have a representation, but then they have decided not to go for primaries, but rather to bring on one person. This person is a businessman with the name of Solomon Esumedu, and he is the party's candidate who is going to represent the party for the by-election. Let's take a look at what the Eastern Regional Chairman had to say with regards to this.
They set up a committee, and we were tasked to find out who could be our candidate, or whether we will do primaries or not. So the team went to Akwatia in the constituency, had engagement, a lot of engagement with the grassroots, electoral area coordinators, polling station officers, chiefs, opinion leaders, and majority of the people said that for primaries, we should take it out. We shouldn't conduct primaries in Akwatia. And that's exactly what we followed. And then now comes to how we will get a suitable candidate. We commissioned a search. We commissioned a research. People went into the constituency and gave them all the names that had expressed interest. In this case, Honorable Amase, Lawyer Uredu, Kwame Asumedu, Daniel Nyame, Osei Apia. And we gave them these names to go into the constituency, in the villages, in the towns, to throw out these names, to come back and report to us who the suitable person could be. And to cut a long story short, when it came, the party saw that they've settled on Kwame Asumedu, Solomon. And so we reported back to council, and council also gave us the go-ahead to engage further and to follow the due process to do a popular acclamation for Kwame Asumedu in the constituency. Today marks the official announcement of Kwame Asumedu as our candidate for the Akwatia constituency by elections.
At some locations.
And yes, finally, this is what the NPP says. So they say that they have selected Solomon Asumedu as a party's candidate for Akwetia's by-election, so they will not go to primaries. Jeff Kunedu, who is the Eastern Regional Chairman, is online, and we want to find out the reason. All right, so we'll get him to join us pretty shortly, and then we get to understand why. But you can send your messages to us on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. Let's get talking. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. Of course, with Franco Trading Enterprise, you know you are always covered when it comes to authentic gadgets. So whether mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, whatever you are looking for, don't worry at all. They will serve you. You can download the app on your phone, which is a Franco Trading app, or visit the website www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still, phone Papa Pafi. Now, do you think that the NPP did the right thing by not going for primaries and just selecting one person to represent them for the Akwetia by-elections? All right, so Jeff is on now. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you too?
We are doing well by God's grace. Now, you have selected Solomon to represent the party for the by-elections. Why the selection and why not primaries?
Very well. Thank you so much. Use this opportunity to greet your viewers and your listeners. Yes, we did not conduct primaries in the constituency because of the results of our engagement with the constituency and opinion leaders, chiefs, and the polling station executives, and the ordinary citizen of Akwetia constituency who sees him or herself as an MPP supporter. Reason was simple. We were tasked by our National Council to find out what we need to do in order to get a suitable replacement for Ernest Yaukuni, who passed on not long ago. So the committee went to Akwetia. First of all, the question was, are we going to have primaries or are we going to select a candidate? And we went around, spoke to polling station officers, opinion leaders, chiefs, party executives, and a lot of other people. And everybody unanimously said that, no, for primaries, we should avoid it. We should try as best as possible to make a selection of a suitable candidate. So that answer was clear, and that we accepted it as a clean and a clear sign that the party unity is very important for us. So the next thing was, who were we going to settle on? So then we put in a research team and tasked them with about 6 different names to go out throughout the constituency and speak to the polling station officers, speak to electoral area coordinators, speak to party executives, and come up with a name that will resonate with all of them. And yes, in their report, it was clear that the constituency treasurer, Solomon Kwame Anyimadu-Antwi, was clearly the person the people wanted to replace Ernest Yaukuni. And that is how we came to that settlement. And yes, yesterday we called all the other contestants, all the other people who submitted their names. We called them into a meeting. We told them this news and also asked for their support for this candidate. And yes, all of them agreed that they were going to support the new candidate. They agreed that they are going to go to their various enclaves in the constituency and engage their followers so as to bring unity and peace in the constituency ahead of the election.
Is this decision supported by the national officers?
Yes. So the committee was set up by the National Council.
Okay.
And when we got our report, the committee went back to the National Council and reported to National Council, who also gave us another mandate to engage further with the Kwame Anyimadu person and also make sure we follow the constitutional provisions and make him our candidate. So yes, it was with the full blessing of the national officers and the National Council.
Now, there have been several calls for a member of parliament, former member of parliament, Amase, to be brought back. Did you take that into consideration?
Yes. She featured prominently in the people who really expressed interest. And we had a series of meetings with her, and also the team who went in there had a series of meetings with her, and some key followers of hers were also consulted. But in the end, it was clear that Kwame Anyimadu was rather the preferred candidate.
What does Kwame Anyimadu have that Amase didn't have that made the party decide to go with him?
Well, in comparing the two, if I say this one has this or this one has that, I may not be doing justice to both of them. But the questionnaire and the things that were put in place in the constituency came up clearly that Kwame Anyimadu was the preferred candidate. So whatever the respondent decided based on is very, very personal to them. I think that it was something that bordered on bringing the party together, unity.
Okay, all right. And all parties are happy. But what do you say to people who feel this process was undemocratic because this should have gone through primaries?
Yes, I can agree with them on that note that, yes, we should have gone through primaries. But you see, in our constitution, it allows the party to select a candidate if the circumstances require that. And my sister, if you know Akwetia NPP politics, there were serious divisions in our party. In fact, even ahead of the 2024 elections, and some of us have to work assiduously to make sure we're able to rally the party behind NS Yafune. And thankfully, with hard work and dedication, NS was able to campaign and win the seat for us. So for us as a party, that unity is so important for us that we can still hold the party together and to avoid anything that will bring split in our party in the constituency ahead of the by-election.
Is that not the more reason why you should have gone for primaries?
That is actually a more reason why we shouldn't have gone for primaries, my dear. All because, right. You know...
Are you saying that primaries bring division?
Most of the time, people will have their camp. If I was contesting with you, my sister, you will see that my supporters and your supporters will be, shouting at each other, speaking words, and on WhatsApp platforms, and a lot of acrimony. So when all is said and done, and you win, it takes a lot for you to get my people behind you. And mind you, the time allotted for this by-election is so short. So if you go through this painful exposure of your party and you want to do a reconciliation, I think it was going to be a Herculean task for us to get the party back together ahead of the election. And that was one of the things that everybody in Akwetia that we consulted said that, no, let's leave primaries out. And yes, the party heeded to that.
All right. So the party has heeded to it, and so no primaries. But as you've done this, how are you making sure that you gather as many votes as possible to win the seat or to secure your seats, because you already have the seats?
Yes. It is clear, the National Council, knowing that we need to reach out to all the potential aspirants who were not selected, had also set up another committee of eminent party senior people, the Honorable Oseche Mensah Bonsu, His Excellency Patrick Akuma, and Honorable Macmenu, former national chairman, that they should engage those people and also make sure that they bring their followers back to the party for us to have a united front ahead of the election. So the work is also ongoing with them. And hopefully, based on what they told us when we broke this news to them, that they are going to support this candidate. Hopefully, they are going to do so, and with the support of our national officers, all of them will come on board for us to have a united front ahead of the election.
Looking at the kind of win that the NDC got in December elections 2024, what work are you also putting in to make sure you gather more votes, not from just the NPP faithfuls, but from the floating voters?
Yes, and that is what the limited time to campaign brings in. We will make sure we speak to each and every voter in the conference and try to let them understand the importance of retaining NPP on that seat. So yes, we are ready. We'll go in there and work and campaign and make sure that we reach out to every voter who will now then come and vote for us.
Fantastic. Now, let's finalize with you telling us how critical it is for the NPP to reclaim that seat.
Well, for me, to give that sort of, I don't even know what to say, my sister. You see, Yaokumi died painfully. He died 6 months after being sworn in. They just say 6 months. And it is painful. Yaokumi suffered a lot. Court cases, being chased after with contempt. Boy knew no peace. What was his sin? He just wanted to serve his people. And so now for me, to serve as a message to everybody around and to the soul of Yaokumi that he didn't labor in vain. I think the people of Akwetia should look on these things and vote Kwame Anyimadu to replace Yaokumi.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff, for joining us this morning. We wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you very much.
All right, and that's Jeff Konedu, who is Eastern Regional Chairman for the NPP. I'll read a few messages. Thank you so much for sticking with us. And my name is Roslyn Felu. Let's read some messages coming in. And a very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. With Franco Trading Enterprise, you can trust that we always have you covered. So, wow, messages coming in here and there, here and there, here and there. Musa Abatoa in Asawasi says, hi, Roslyn. There is nothing like selection in a true democracy. The backbone of democratic process is elections and the majority's decision, not a small group handpicking a candidate. What the NPP is doing in Akwetia by-election is simply undemocratic and sets a dangerous precedent. From Honorable Akisme, Secretary Bekwa, he says, as we approach the Akwetia by-election I believe the people of Akwetia should vote for the National Democratic Congress candidate. The NDC has demonstrated a strong grassroots connection and their candidate selection process has been transparent, with a notable candidates like Henry Boachi Yadom, Erasmus Koni Ali, aka Asanka, and a lawyer Bernard Bediako Beidu vying for the seat. The NDC's commitment to inclusivity is evident in their 50% reduction on filing fees for female aspirants and persons with disabilities. This gesture showcases their dedication to empowering marginalized groups. Dear Rosalind, is oh, that's long. Wow. Is mind-boggling. Boko conflict continues to escalate without any solution in sight that transcends successive governments. Apart from the chaos created by the conflict, the state spends a whooping sum of 6 million Ghana cedis every month trying to bring peace at Boko. To compound to the problem, a chief in Boko has unilaterally rejected the curfew imposed by the government, thereby creating more instability. Can you imagine a whole IGP's convoy was shot at? On the economic front, the government has done well to stabilize the city. Macroeconomic indicators are pointing in the right direction. But apart from rice and cooking oil, prices of goods are still high in the market. To conclude, the fight against Galamsey by Mohammed's government is a smokescreen and charade. The government must, as a matter of urgency, declare a state of emergency on water bodies and forest reserves to curb the degradation of the environment and its concomitant ever-increasing kidney diseases. It's crystal clear the NDC members and sympathizers are into the Galamsey menace, so it makes it difficult for the government to fight the menace. And please, next time, keep your messages short, I beg you, okay? When you bring it long like that, it means that we can't read others. This is a bit too long, unfortunately. If your message is too long, I will not read it. Thank you so much. Teacher Kojo Tepa Yiswano, I think I read your message earlier. Okay, so good morning, Joy Prime. Tell the elephants to stop disturbing the peace by their ugly noises. Where were they when Godfrey Dami issued no prosecution for MPP hoodlums who attacked the court and the Galamsey kingpin who was found destroying forests and forest water bodies in the past? They should state the law broken by the AG or stop making nuisance for themselves. Enough of the double standards. Okay, good morning, Rosalind. You can see that Honorable Kwame Anyimadu-Antwi is totally missed out what he wants to defend against. My advice to MPP is not everything that you must come out to defend or against. Sometimes you may disgrace yourself before the public. So please take time or else you continue to destroy the NPP party slowly. Ignatius from Bolgatanga. Good morning, beautiful Rosalind. This, if it's long, okay, pray that it's not long. I'll do your last paragraph. Question is, who even did the evaluation in the first place, and how are we to track these wobbly process you mentioned, Rosalind, during the 2024 elections? Do you remember the statement, anytime NDC is in power, there's peace in Boko? What has changed? Brookman, Anobil, Matayeko. All right, so I've said to you, keep your messages simple, and I'll read them. Master Planner Junior Kintempo, Boko really deserves peace. Until we stop politicizing this Boko issue, it will be very difficult to stop this conflict. We always lie to ourselves and the people of Boko just to win power. I thought President Mahama said it was only the NPP in power that Boko people fight. Most journalists in this country were quiet and never condemned that statement. Is NPP still in power? Master Planner, which one are you saying? Which of the journalists are you talking about here? All right, so he says that we need peace in Boko, which I agree with you. We do need peace in Boko. Good morning, sweetheart. Let me talk as a Ghana man. I like that. We don't respect the rule of law, but hide behind politics to break rules. That's deep. Anyway, good morning, Joy Prime TV. Watching you live from Wa, Upper West region of Ghana. Keep up the good work for Mother Ghana. Indeed, you are the best. Greetings to the good people of Upper West region, most especially my lovely wife, Queen Lat, and the entire KB family. Is by Bayong Zakariyawu Ngengu. I hope I got your name right.